Hey everybody, I'm going to show you how to make a really simple project today. It'll probably take you an hour if you're a beginner, less if you're an intermediate, but it's a great project for beginners because it's just all straight sewing. So it's got lining on the inside, a couple of pieces of ribbon so you can tie it at the top, and you can use it for just about anything. Put a book in it. I've got ribbons in mine. You might want to put thread or scrap fabric. And all you need is about 30 centimeters of fabric and you're set. So I'll show you how to make that today. Okay, so you've cut out your lining, you've got two pieces, and you've cut out your main fabric. You should have two pieces of that as well. If you've got a one-way print, just make sure that you don't sew the top closed. Make sure you leave that as the opening. So it's really simple, making sure that you've got your fabrics right sides together, so that's like sewing inside out. You're going to use a 1 centimeter seam allowance and start at the top here, backstitch, make your way down to the bottom, pivot with your needle down and the presser foot up, sew along the bottom. You're going to pivot at this corner again and sew back up to the other side and make sure you backstitch there. Remember to sew a 1 centimeter seam allowance, and you're going to do exactly the same on your lining piece. So let's do that. So make sure you have that 1 centimeter seam allowance, your raw edges lined up, press a foot down, needle down, couple of stitches forward, couple of stitches back, and then continue to sew. Okay, so you've got to the end. So this is where you're going to pivot. So make sure that needle is down and then lift the presser foot up. If you have your needle up, you'll have this wonky stitch at the bottom. So we need to have the needle down, presser foot up, and pivot around. And you can see there, I'm almost lined up with the 1 centimeter, but not quite. So I'm actually going to take it back, put my presser foot back down again, and I'm going to take it back 1 stitch just manually, presser foot up, turn it around. Whoop, I went the wrong way. We'll go the other way. So I've got to go forward. I've gone too far. There we go. So that's why it's always good just to use your hand wheel to get you on the right spot. And there we go. It's matched up perfectly now with the 1 centimeter. Press the foot back down and off we go again. Okay, so I've got both of those sewn, and now you're going to trim back those seams a little bit. That's just to reduce the bulk. So just a couple of millimeters. You don't want to go too close to the stitching. And we'll do that on both the lining and the main body of the bag. At the corners, you can just trim diagonally like that, because what that does, it removes that excess fabric there from the corner when you turn it. So go and trim everything, and then we'll turn, once you've trimmed everything, turn the main body of the bag right side out, and you can use a chopstick, or I've got a little point turner or anything that's pointy, just to get into those corners and push it right out, and then we'll give it all a good press. Leave the lining though as is, turned inside out. We just want the main body turned right side out for now. Okay, so you've turned the main body right side out. Give that a really good press. And also give your lining a good press, but that one remains inside out. And now while you're still at the pressing board, we need to create our hem by pressing the top part of the bag in. So the main body you will press inwards, so in towards the wrong side. And you're going to make a 1 centimeter hem. So you can eyeball this, or you can use your ruler at the ironing board just to get you started. Try not to burn your fingers. So I always start on the side seam because that's the trickiest. Whoops, excuse all the steam. That's the trickiest part. And then you can just make your way around, continuing to iron at 1 centimeter. So So with the lining, you need to press the hem the other way, so towards you. So it will be going to the inside, the wrong side of the bag. So again, just start on that side seam and you're pressing it to the wrong side of the fabric, getting that 1 centimetre hem going to start with, and then just continue to press. Okay, so now we're going to insert the lining into the main body. So pop your hand straight into the lining bag and then insert that into the main body bag. That sounds great, doesn't it? A body bag of the book bag. Line up the side seams and let gravity do the work. Just shake it around and line up those hems at the top. So when you find the side seam there and match it, pop a pin in. So we're matching those folded edges. And then the other side, you're lining up the side seams, folded edges. You might want the lining so it's just about 1 millimetre inside of the main body fabric. And then we're going to pin the rest of it, but we do need to insert our ribbon. So I'll just continue to pin that and I'll come back to the ribbon. Okay, so I've matched up my folded edges for the hem. This one's a little bit wonky, I'll just fix that one up. Now I'm going to find the center of the bag at the hem so I can center my ribbon, and that's measuring 21 centimeters, so 10.5 centimeters is going to be the center. So from side seam to side seam is 21, so 10.5. I'm going to put a little pin there, or you can put a chalk mark. I've got 2 pieces of ribbon and they both measure 25 centimeters each. And I'm now just going to take that pin out there because I've marked my point, just holding it there. Insert the ribbon in between the lining and the main body. So insert it, a couple of centimeters in to make sure that you're getting it in there. And then pop your pin in, pop it in perpendicular. It's easier when you sew it to take it out that way. And then I'm going to flip it over and match it up to the other side. So just inserting the ribbon in a couple of centimeters, pop the pin in, and then we're ready to sew. So what we're going to do now, and this is the last little bit and you'll have your book bag finished, is start at the side seam at the top here and sew at about 6 millimeters from that folded edge. And you're going to sew all the way around. When you get to the ribbon, make sure you don't sew over your pin, just stop, hold it, take the pin out, continue on, and then you're going to sew all the way back to where you started, back stitch, and then you're done. Okay, if you've got a sewing machine with a free arm, which most sewing machines have these days, just take the free arm off. Oops, sorry, a bit noisy. And then you can just slip the book bag in like this. So you'll use this for when you're sewing cuffs as well on shirts or pants. And then I'm going to line up my my folded edge to 6 millimeters. Pop my presser foot down. I'm on the side seam there. Take the first pin out, needle down, and have a look. Am I happy with that? Yes. And I'll start sewing. So I'm going to do a few back stitches to get me going, and then continue to sew the seam. And just one other thing, when you're sewing this hem, you might want to just pull on it slightly. So pull from behind and pull in the front just to stretch it. That's what we call easing to fit, because you're trying to fit the lining and the main body hem together. Sometimes it can bunch up a little. So if you just gently pull, that will ease that together. So I'm coming up to the side seam here where I started, a couple of back stitches, and then I'm done. So we just trim off all the threads and I'll show you the end result. There you have it, your little book bag. All you need to do is give it a good press, push those corners out so it's nice and sharp, grab a book and pop it in there. So have fun sewing that, guys.